So I'm continuing again with with my recent changes. Um, got my high bar squats going here because it's not that it doesn't put stress on the lower back, because back squats will put stress on the lower back, but I think the balance of stress between the lower back and the legs, the balance has changed a little bit, so that if I let my hips shoot up, then it would put too much stress on the lower back and I would pitch forward. And so this way, it's sort of a way to keep me honest as far as making sure the hips don't shoot up. My focal point is different too. So when I'm doing low bar squats, you can see there's a mirror in front of me, and I'm kind of focusing on the lower frame of the mirror or a spot a little bit below that. Whereas when I'm doing high bar squats, I'm focusing on the fan in the background. There's a fan behind me, a ceiling fan, and so I'm looking at that in the mirror. So it's a much more upward focus in order to try and maintain that more upright body position, and I think that's significant. I've been pretty happy with my form. It's at least been consistent. I'm not going super deep on these. I'm just kind of going to what feels natural for me. And my front squats will go deep. So I'll get that full range of motion there. And that's a more natural movement to go deep on. So I'm setting up for my front squats here. And I did manage to get, I think, was it 11 reps on the back squats, whereas I got 7 last time with the same amount of weight, so I'm okay with that. Pretty happy at that. And I'm letting my reps kind of float up a little bit. I just like the way it feels. And when I'm doing high reps, then I know my first few reps have really got to be good as far as form, and I think maybe that helps me to maintain that consistency. Once I get to about 15, that's probably where I'm going to go up with the weight, and I think I'm at about 13 here on the front squats. Now these I have an even higher focus than I do on the back squats, because the back squats still have a little bit more lean in them. Even the high bar squats have more lean than the front squats. And so whereas I'm focusing on the ceiling fan in the background, in the mirror, when I do my back squats, here I'm actually trying to look up at some crossbar on my power rack. So I'm really focusing upwards. I'm sure my eyeballs are all the way to the top of my head, but it's working because it's helping me to maintain that position. And of course, my body wants to go forward a little bit, and because the body's always lazy and wants to recruit other muscle groups. Um, but since I re-implemented front squats into my routine, I haven't felt like I'm losing the bar, like it's like the bar is going to fall forward. It always seems to be well positioned there, just resting right there on my trachea. So there's that. And, so I'm continuing on with the lighter weights here too on my dips. I managed to get 8 reps with the purple band, and I've done 8 reps before with no band, but I'm really focusing on a particular body position, this more leaned forward kind of position, elbows going back instead of out to the sides as I dip. And I've had elbow pain in the past, occasionally from dips. And this body position seems to be quite good for avoiding that pain, as well as getting a really good amount of fatigue in the target muscle groups, which is mostly the chest and the triceps, although I feel a tremendous amount of muscular fatigue in the deltoids as well when I do dips, which is a little counterintuitive, but you have to think that as the body is almost upright, but the shoulders are going back, so when you push up, you are working the deltoids. It's just through a different range of motion than you do when you do an overhead press. And so these, again, I continue to take way beyond failure because I'm doing the banded dips. Then I do some negatives. Then I do these assisted reps, and my triceps are just burning as I'm doing these assisted reps. And then I move the whole thing out of the way and get on my knees and do some knee push-ups. I think I get like 7 of them today. That's how fatigued I am. Is after all this, I can't even do an adequate number of correct push-ups. But that's okay. It means I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Grinding these out. And of course, the most important thing of my workouts and the changes that I've made lately is that I'm enjoying them. I'm taking it like doing kind of like in like this one in basically like 3 blocks. I've got the lower body, I've got the push, and then I've got the pull, which is mostly the rows here, and then followed with drop set and then reverse rows. But so I do 1 block, and then rest a couple minutes, catch my breath, give myself a slight chance to recover. Then I set up for the second one, rest and recover for a couple minutes, and then set up the third one. And within each block, I'm really moving through my set or my exercises or however you want to call it, as quickly as I can without making it rushed. Because here I was doing my rows with 110 pounds, and of course it takes time to change the weight, put the collars back on, and get. See, I'm not loosening up my weight belt, and I don't do that after between the squats and the front squats either. But it still takes time. It takes time to drop the weight, and it takes time to get my wrist straps back in position. And for my rows today, I was trying to focus a little bit more on pushing the elbows back instead of pulling the bar to my waist, which is a very subtle difference. So we'll see if that makes any difference for me. But like I said, enjoying it. And then of course, when I finish these rows, then I'm going to go to reverse rows, and that takes. You see how long it takes. The time to go from finishing the set and setting it up for the reverse rows, which means I have to move the hooks and get the bar up there, and then turn myself over and get the set. So it's like 12. So I'm watching the time tick by. Of course, I'm not doing nothing as I do this. I'm going to set up for a clean, which should definitely continue to be helped by my front squats. Between my deadlifts and my front squats definitely helps this movement pattern. But I'm cleaning 95 pounds, whereas I'm front squatting for reps with 80 pounds. So even though it's just a single, so it's somewhat heavier. Boom. Okay, today's looks much better. Much better than last time. So it's actually going to end up being like about a minute 40 or even a minute 50 from the time I finish the rows to the time I start the reverse rows. Yeah, about a minute 50. Although I do have that single heavy clean in the middle there, so I can count that as not entirely a rest period. So I'm doing this exercise as part of my working past failure on both Yates rows and also my chin-ups, which is interesting because it has a little bit of a component of both, but it feels good. Feels like it's working the right parts. I get like 11 here or something like that. That'll do it for today. Well, I did some ab work. That's the bulk of it. All right, see you next time.